Okay, it looks like we got everything working again. Recording. Oh, yeah, I know. You guys ought to quit picking on me when I'm on the air. Anyway, so make sure you like and subscribe because, this channel doesn't seem to be getting a lot of subscribers, so you got to get us up above the point where they're paid and the watch hour is up, so you got to pay attention to what we're doing. Hopefully, putting these videos out every day of the week will help get everybody to watch us more or watch these videos more. Then, if you don't know already, because it's probably pretty obvious to what movie we're talking about today, but this is the 2008 version of Journey to the Center of the Earth because there are earlier versions, I think 4 or 5 earlier versions. But this one is pretty good. Now, let me get to the right section of this page so we can talk about it. So they talk about our star in this one gets his 13-year-old nephew to show up at his house to spend some time with him. Then, he goes to the lab. They try to do things. They unpack a brother's box of goodies left to him because his brother is declared dead. And they find out that he figured out how to get into the center of the earth through some investigations through his lab and blips on a screen and monitors. So they travel to, I don't know what it is called, Salem, Transylvania. Anyway, so they go through the Journey to the Center of the Earth book, and he has notes. He's a Vernian. And Jules Verne's books are actually pretty good. I like them. I've read them, most of them so far. And the movie is almost as good as the book, this one. So anyway, they go traveling around. Once they figure they're traveling, they got to take the coin collection and trade it in for tickets. So they both go traveling to the Institute for Volcanology. It's just a woman because dad has died. He disappeared just like his brother. So they go up to get they hire her as a mountain guide and go up to the top of the peak, and the same peak they used in all the movies, by the way. Then they figure out there's an old mine down in there, which is a twist from the earlier movies. And then they get trapped in the mine because of a cave-in, or tunnels to the mine because of a cave-in. So they have to go deeper to figure it out. And they got to drop rope and go down. They light a flare and catch the walls on fire. Like I say, this is going to be lots of action, romance. I can't remember what they classified it as on this page, but let's see. Oh, let's see, where's it at? Okay, a 3D science fiction action. Yes, this thing did come out in 3D. It come out in 4D because it is 2008. They did come out with this. So in this one, they got all kinds of science fiction, lots of good editing in this thing. I can't remember what you want to call it. Special effects going on in this thing. My brain's not working today. It must be because I've got a headache, dizzy or something. But it seems like lately that's all I get is dizzy. Anyway, so they do lots of special effects. In one scene, they got floating rocks, and the kid has to figure out a way to get across it. They have to make a kite boat to get across the ocean. Once they get underground, they fall a long ways with water, and they end up underwater, and the mountain guide, which is a woman, has trouble getting out of the water because her backpack's too heavy. So the guy that hired her, Josh, has to go back and save her and bring the pack out with her. They find out the roof is moving. They find prehistoric birds that glow in the dark. Kind of different. Or flying around up in there because that's where their water source is at. Then they go hiking and they figure out find out the book is real. Everything, all the mystery stuff in the book is real, which is kind of interesting on how they do that. How they did that. It's Um, it's kind of interesting all the set work they did, all the way they did it. They must have done most of this, probably 3D on the computer. But if they'd done it in real life in a warehouse, that would have been a lot of work for the set guys. And it would have been a whole lot more fun if they did it. It probably would have been more realistic if they did it in set instead of 3D editing on the computer. But walking in front of a green screen and pretending you're doing something, trying to interact with something that's not real is difficult. Oh, that's good coffee. Too bad I didn't have a coffee sponsor, and I could get coffee for free. Anyway, so they put a lot of work into this. Probably a bunch of people sitting at computers, but for the special effects they used on this compared to what they did today, it actually did a pretty good job. So when they get down into the bottom where following the book's lead, and it's in the book type of thing, they find where their brother was living and staying, and he had the same problem they were going to have because they're a little late, for the same time of the season that he made it there. And they show him actually had died there, trying to figure out how to get off the island and making notes in his book and all kinds of places. They found all of his equipment from the 70s there with him. So they figured out that the temperature's rising too fast. They couldn't stand it for much longer. When they left, the temperature was up about 135 degrees underground, crossing the underground ocean. They get prehistoric fish jumping out with teeth that are, at least this long in the movie, maybe bigger. Look like lion's teeth. They're looking to get prey, and then they got dragons trying to trace those. Prehistorical dragons trying to chase those, so they get out of the way of that. Then the 13-year-old nephew and uncle get separated because of a kite. We'll have to figure out what the kite means when you get the movie. And then both of them go their own path to try to reach the river. At the end, they ride a dinosaur skull completely out of the volcano, so they come back to the surface, which is kind of funny how they did that. It's really good that they can make a box that they can put dinosaur teeth to look like a skull, because they use that as a boat when they're in the water. Then they use to get the volcano to erupt. They get a flare to light up the walls or put fire in the walls like they did before, so they can blow a hole in it to get the water out of it. And the water hits the volcano. It creates a bunch of steam. It shoots them down to the ceiling, and they get to slide down a grape and just outside of France, a grape vineyard, Italy. They destroy the man's home, and they pay with diamonds they've collected on the way and the trip. I didn't mention those in the first place. There's lots of adventures, lots of twists and turns, and I do suggest you go watch this if you haven't already. And you should put what you think about the movie or even this review down there in the bottom. It's kind of interesting to see what other people think about what I'm talking about. And hopefully, you've done the subscribe thing, but I got to quit pushing it so hard, or push it harder, I don't know which. So this movie was put out by Warner Brothers Pictures. It came out July 11th, 2008. They just released one release date finally. It ran a 93 minutes long. That's pretty good. Country that it was made in was the United States. The language it was made in was English, of course. The budget was $60 million on this thing, so they spent a lot of money making this movie. And at the box office, it made $244.2 million, so they made a little bit of money on this one, which is kind of interesting. So I guess that could let them reinvest and make more movies. Now, hopefully, I've made enough sense in this thing so that you can realize this is a good movie to go get and watch. On Rotten Tomatoes, this thing did pretty good on reviews. It did good reviews on everything, and I gave it a 6 because I like it. But I like the whole story of journey to the center of the earth because it makes you wonder, are there passages like that in the earth? It's very well possible because we don't know for sure. We know there's volcano passages, but is there a path that you can walk through and find a big cavern underneath in the earth to basically survive in? It generates its own light because of the center of the core. From the core of the earth, basically the center of the core would be the sun. It kind of makes you wonder if that's actually true. A lot of people have been theorizing about it. That's late night talk shows talk about it. Is there a center Earth or a core in the center of the Earth? Even TV shows have talked about it. It's kind of interesting on the topic. Now, did it actually really happen? Probably not. This is just science fiction. Is it real? I do not know for sure. Do I have fun with the movie? Yes, I like science fiction a lot. And I'm definitely going to go ahead and keep watching this movie, whether you take my recommendation or not. It's a good movie, especially one for the family. Good action adventure. It's good for all ages. And we'll talk to you later, and we'll see you on the next movie, whether that's a week or tomorrow. And hopefully YouTube leaves me alone on these movies reviews, because they're crazy. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye now.